All we're going to do today is do the things that need to be done so we can have a productive week. So I have a list on my chalkboard right behind me of the things I would like to get done today. We'll see how far we get. The Lidl's in my area actually had whole chickens on sale for 99 cents a pound. Limit 10 pounds, which is 2 chickens. I went 3 different times and I was able to get 6 chickens. No family. I did not go out of my way. This was on my way to work every day for the last 3 days. They're in the refrigerator. I need to get those processed. Still trying to think how I want to do that. But more on that later. We'll talk about the cost and how we're going to prepare them. But on this list right here, so I have up there, process the chicken. I need to organize the meat freezer really bad. And you'll see this video probably next week, but I have some peppers fermenting so I can make some hot sauce. I do want to get to that today. Plus, I need to make a sweet Thursday dessert. I know what we're going to do, and it's going to be delicious. And I still need to prepare dinner. No matter what's going on, I always have to prepare dinner. We're going to go outside, and we're going to pick some herbs so we can have those drying. I need to feed my sourdough starter, and I need to stock the kitchen essentials. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Gravy in the Kitchen. So let's go ahead and get this day started and see how much of that list we can get done. First, we're going to go outside and we're going to cut some herbs. I have sage, thyme, and oregano. I need to bring them in so they can start drying so we can process them. The sage is growing crazy. I do have something coming out here and eating on it. I am not going to use those leaves. Now I've already did 2 clippings from this, and it has grown out of control. I do not put any pesticide or anything on my plants. I will share it with the animals, with the insects, if that means I get a better product in return. All right, we need to trim this. So I'm just going to start going in here to the base and just start clipping. I love the smell of sage. The sage will come back every year. It's not something you have to plant yearly. You plant it once, harvest, and next year you get to do it all over again. And that's the sage going back. So I went ahead and took all the sage to the sink, rinsed it off with cold water, and now I'm just going through again, picking out any leaves that have been tampered with by any kind of insects. And we'll lay it on this kitchen towel until they dry, and then we can tie them up and let them air dry for us to store for long term. So I went ahead and did the same thing with the oregano and the thyme. I washed them. It's not as much as the sage. I'm just going to put this aside and let it finish wicking out all that moisture. But now we can go ahead and tie up our sage. So I have some kitchen twine. And there's really no right or wrong way to do it, but this is the way I do it. I just take a couple pieces of the stems, and I just start wrapping. Make sure I leave a little tail right here so I can tie it at the end. So I just hold it between my two fingers. And then I'll just add a couple more pieces of stems. And then wrap that in a couple times. And then I just work my way around until all the sage is tied together. I might have to do 2 bundles. Okay, I think I'm going to call it quits here. Seem to have lost my end. Oh no, that's what I was trying not to do. Okay, there we go. And then I make a little loop just so I have something to hang it up with. Then I'm just going to find room on my pot rack and let them dry. And as for the oregano and the thyme, because these leaves are so tender, I just put the whole thing in a mesh reusable produce bag, and I can hang it up. And here I do have some oregano that I had dried about 2 weeks ago. And I'm just going to put the new oregano in this bag. So we have 2 bundles of sage, a little bit of oregano, and a little bit of thyme. And they'll stay right there until we're ready. But as for the oregano that I had dried a couple weeks ago, I want to go ahead and process. Just going to crush it off of the stem. I have a half-pint mason jar. And we have oregano. This is the sage I had picked a couple weeks ago, had it dry, and then I put it in the high-speed blender. This is what I picked last week. And it's been hanging up there drying. I removed it all from the stems. Now we're going to process this. I have the high-speed blender with the blade. And I'm just going to pulverize this and add it to this jar. Family, if you're in a situation like I am, I don't have a huge yard where I could grow all the things we need to feed our family. We have a couple containers out there that I am actually growing onions in this year. And I have a few basil leaves. If you have a small step or stoop or a porch or deck, you can grow herbs. Sage, oregano, thyme, rosemary. All of these herbs you plant once and you harvest year after year after year. I planted this sage probably 15 years ago, and I am still getting sage from it. Once the sage that is drying on the pot rack is ready, I'll remove those off the stem, put them in the high-speed blender, and add it to my jar. Oregano, I'll do the same thing with oregano I have in the bag. The thyme, we'll get another jar and we'll add thyme. This is a way to reduce your grocery bill when you can grow herbs yourself and process them, and you can have fresh, dry herbs at the ready. We took care of the herbs. Yes. That's one thing off of our to-do list. Done. Let me clean up the kitchen a bit. Go ahead and process that chicken and get it ready in the freezer. And while we're in the freezer, we're going to organize the meat freezer. Needs to be done today. So at the beginning of this video, I was talking about the chicken we got on sale at Lidl's. They had their whole chickens for 99 cents a pound, but it was only limit 2. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, on my way to work each of those days, I went ahead and stopped and picked up 2 chickens 3 different times for a total of 6. If I was headed in that direction again today or tomorrow, I would pick up more, but I don't think I'm going in that direction. But let me talk about them. They're in a Walmart bag because if you shop at a Lidl's or Aldi's, they do not provide plastic bags. So we always save our plastic bags when we go to Food Lion or Walmart or Kroger. If we use those bags, if I don't take my own reusable bags, if we use bags from those stores, we save the bags. That way when I go to Lidl's and I get meat, I can put it in something before I put it in my reusable bag. And once my plastic bags have touched raw meat, I do not save them. We only save bags that have not touched anything that's perishable. So the first time we went, we got these 2 chickens. Regular price was $1.49 a pound, 4.95 pounds at $7.38, 4.52 pounds at $6.73. My savings of the 50 cents per pound on these 2 chickens was $4.74. Basically, buying 3 chickens, I'm actually getting 1 free. So I bought 6 chickens, so I got 2 free with that 50 cent savings per pound per chicken. For the chicken I picked up on Friday, my savings was $4.74. I ended up spending $9.46 on 2 whole chickens. Saturday, I went back and picked up 2 more chickens. One was 4.62 pounds at $6.88. My savings was $2.31. The other one was 4.61 pounds, regular price at $6.87. My savings was $2.31. So I spent $9.22 on these 2 chickens. My savings was $4.62. While I was at Lidl's yesterday, I went ahead and picked up the 3 loaves of bread that the husband's going to need for his work lunches. 2 are in the freezer. 1 is on the counter. We keep our bread in the freezer until he needs it, and I'll take it out about 12 hours before he actually needs to open up a new loaf. That way it stays fresh and I don't have to worry about it going bad. So I left 1 out, the other 2 are in the refrigerator, and these were $4.14 a loaf. Now the husband promised me that when he retires, which is going to be a little bit over a month from now, that he will not be using store-bought bread. He's going to be converted to homemade sourdough bread or homemade yeast bread, and hopefully he'll stick to that plan so we don't have to buy bread outside the home anymore. They're not clean ingredients, but he likes the texture when he's making sandwiches for him to take to work. So we've got 3 loaves of bread at $4.14. 2 are in the freezer, 1 is over there for him to use. I did pick up 2 more chickens. One was 4.59 pounds at $6.84. The other one was 4.54 pounds at $6.76. I ended up spending for 2 chickens and 3 loaves of bread, $21.66. My savings was $4.59. So out of the 6 chickens, how much did I spend and how much did I save? So regular price for these 6 chickens, and this is before tax. I do have to pay sales tax in Virginia, but this is before sales tax. 6 chickens was $41.46 regular price. We saved $13.93. Our total cost for these 6 chickens was $27.53. Divide that between 6 chickens, it comes up to $4.58 average per whole chicken. And I'm going to save more money by processing them myself, getting them in freezer, vacuum seal bags, and get them in my freezer for future meals. I think I want to do something a little different. I think I'm going to turn 2 of these into a spatchcock chicken, so we can have whole chickens for roasting, whether we want to cook it on the grill or in the oven or stovetop. So I know I'm going to turn 2 of these into spatchcock. The other 4 I'm going to cut up into fryer parts. I think I'm going to go ahead and debone and de-skin the thighs and the breast of 2. And then 2 chickens will be just cut up fryer parts like we normally do. let's get started. I'm going to keep them in the refrigerator until I'm ready. That way they stay nice and cold. I'm going to go ahead and get out the vacuum sealer. So once we start, we don't have to stop until everything is processed. So this is going to be the first chicken. We're going to spatchcock, which means it's going to be a whole chicken, but we're going to remove the backbone and flatten it out. So you want a good pair of kitchen shears, and you'll see the little tail part. Just cut right beside that all the way up and separate that backbone. And then on the other side. I'm going to save the backbone for the future so we can have some chicken stock. I'm going to clean him out just a bit. Pull any of those big fat pieces. And any of the gizzards or anything. There we go. And there's a bone. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's like a piece of white, very soft bone right here. Take a good kitchen knife and just cut right through that without cutting all the way through your chicken. Now we can turn him meat side up. You want to make sure the legs are going inward. So you have your thighs, your drumsticks, your breast, and your wings. And we're going to give it a good hard smash right here where that soft bone is. And that's going to allow us to get him to lay flat. You're going to take your wings and go ahead and tuck those wing tips in. And he is ready to go into a bag. And I don't have vacuum seal bags that are gallon size wide, so I'm just going to put it in a regular Ziploc bag. And I want to make sure he stays in this formation. Make sure those wings stay nice and tucked. If they don't, it's okay. Try to get as much of the air out as possible. That's one. Let me go ahead and do another one, and then we'll move on to the other chickens. So I have the second spatchcock chicken going in the refrigerator. So this is going to be the first of 2 whole chickens cut up into fryer parts. So first I want to start with the wings. And then I like working on the legs and the drumsticks. So I just take some kitchen shears and I cut through the skin. And there's a joint that attaches the thigh bone to the backbone. Once you find that, you just bend it backwards and you could cut right there. And then there's a fat line between the drumstick and the thigh. If you cut just to the drumstick side of that fat line, you can separate the drumstick from the thigh. And now the other side. And to separate the breast from the backbone, there's another fat line right there. Just take your kitchen shears and cut right down that fat line on both sides. Then we're going to snap it, and then we can finish cutting it through. That's our backbone. Save that for stock. Again, there's a soft bone. Just going to cut through that just a bit. Press it down. And then I'm going to cut this. Let me get rid of some of this extra skin right here. I'm going to cut right down the center, right through that breastbone. Rock my knife back and forth until I go all the way through. Get the kitchen shears, finish that up. Always cut the breast meat in half, but not in the center. Has a thicker portion up towards the top, a thinner portion towards the bottom. We'll cut the top into a 1/3 piece and the bottom as a 2/3 piece. Rock through that bone. And that way they're closer in weight, not size. Then again with this one. Let me clean up, wash my hands. We'll go ahead and get this one back. I'll go ahead and cut the second one. So I have it labeled chicken fryer parts. That way I know it's skin on, bone in, no wings. I always separate the wings, and I have today's date. So that's a breast. So we have 4 pieces of the breast meat. Two drumsticks. And 2 thighs. The wings we'll take care of later. This is the second where we're going to leave this bone in, skin on fryer parts. Don't worry, family, I will sanitize this countertop really well when we're finished. So the 2 fryer part chickens are gonna go into the refrigerator, and then we're gonna start doing the boneless, skinless chicken thighs and chicken breast. And the drumsticks we'll save and put the 2 from this one and 2 from the other chicken as another meal. But I'm going to separate the wings, and then we're gonna cut this chicken into like fryer parts. What we're gonna do different is we're gonna save the bones from the chicken thighs and the breast as we debone and deskin those parts. Now I'm taking a small paring knife and I'm going to slowly remove the meat from the bone. Save that. And then there's a chicken tender. I'm going to go ahead and separate that. And then there's a small little bone right here. I just need to find where that bone is. There we go. I want to go ahead and fillet my chicken breast. So I'm going to hold my hand flat and just slice it. And that gives me 2 pieces plus the tender. I do want to remove that tendon. So we got 2 pieces and a tendon. Let's do the other side. And now the chicken thighs. Now I'm going to remove the bone. So we have 2 pieces of chicken thighs, 2 pieces of chicken tenders, 2 breasts that I filleted and have 4 pieces. I'm going to go ahead and do the other chicken, get that bagged up, then we need to take care of the wings. In this bag, I'm going to add the 4 drumsticks from the 2 chickens that we deboned, deskinned, the breast and the thighs. So that's ready to be vacuum sealed. Now we're going to take care of the wings. I removed the wing tips, added to my stock bag, and the other parts I like to cut in half. Okay, all the chicken has been processed. So I have 16 wings, today's date, because each chicken gave us 4 pieces. So we took 4 of those chickens, we removed all the wings, and I'm going to put that in a bag. So we have 16 wing pieces. Let me clean up a bit. In this bowl I have all the boneless, skinless chicken breasts, chicken tenders, and chicken thighs. So in one of the bags that's the boneless chicken breasts and chicken tenders, I'm going to add 2 chicken tenders and 4 pieces of the filleted breast, so it'll be a whole chicken in here. And then we're going to do the same thing with the second bag. And then this last bag is the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm going to put all 4 pieces in here. Now we're going to go ahead and put all of our bone scraps, our wing tips, and our backbones in this bag. Not saving the skin. And the breastbone. All right, now we can go ahead and get all of this sealed up. So we have all 6 of those chickens processed. So we have 2 spatchcock chickens with wings. We have 2 bone-in, skin-on chicken fryer parts, minus the wings. We have 1 pack of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 2 packs of boneless, skinless chicken breasts and tenders, a pack of 16 count chicken wings, 4 count chicken thighs, plus we have a bag of backbones, wing tips, and the breastbone and thigh bones from deboning, deskinning those chickens. This is going to be future stock. I do have another gallon-sized bag in the freezer when we were able to get chicken wings and chicken thighs on sale, and we processed that. So how many meals was this? So the spatchcock chicken will actually be a dinner, a lunch, and a dinner. So each one of these is 3 meals. So that's 6 meals for the husband and I. The same thing with the chicken fryer parts. That's a dinner, a lunch, and a dinner. So that's another 3 meals. So that's 6. So we have 6 and 6 is 12. Each one of the bags of chicken breast is going to be 2 meals, a dinner, and a lunch. So that's 4 meals on chicken breast. Chicken thighs, the same thing. It'll be a dinner and a lunch. So that's 2 meals. The wings is going to be 1 meal. And the drumsticks will be 1 meal. So we have 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So out of those 6 whole chickens, we got 20 meals going into the freezer, plus some backbones. We need to make chicken stock really bad. So I'm going to take a break right here from what we need to do today because I need to get started on dinner. I'll bring you back and we'll see how far we go. But before you leave, let's check off our list. So all the way up here on the top is process the chicken. We can put a check right there. So we've got the chicken processed and we have our herbs done. I'm going to put all of this chicken in the refrigerator until I can get into the freezer and put everything in there because I still want to organize our freezer. But now we have to cook dinner. Dinner has been cooked, eaten, put away, and the dishes have been washed. It's getting late. I don't think we'll be able to get to everything we want to get to on this list, but we are going to get to that freezer. So let's move over to the freezer and get started on working on that. So I have two freezers here. I have a 7 cubic freezer over here, and that holds all of my vegetables and all of the non-meat things, my cheese, raviolis, just all different things. This is the smaller of the two. It's a 5 cube, and this holds all of my meats. I want to go in here and organize it. Now, my local Hallmark store, after Christmas, they have these Christmas bags, and these are like a reusable grocery bag, and they go on sale. They're usually like $5.99 a piece, and after Christmas, they'll go down to about 90% off. So it's basically 59 cents a bag. I bought a bunch of these. So I actually have 3 because I want to put like proteins in each one of these bags. So one's going to be beef, one's going to be pork, and one's going to be chicken. But first I need to get everything out of this freezer so we can utilize these bags to put everything in, plus all the chicken that we processed today. So the only thing I have in here is a pork shoulder or pork butt. What is that? Was a fresh piece of pork right there. I have a turkey and a chicken. That turkey we got on sale last year, just before Thanksgiving, for 39 cents a pound. That's the last one we have. That chicken was locally harvested. A friend of mine, Tammy, was helping a church do some fresh organic chickens, and I bought that from the church. I have a little bit of fish right here that has been breaded, and that is some chili that I froze. I need to find a home for my cheese and my butter. But in this bag is all the chicken we had in the freezer, plus the bones that we already had in the freezer, and the bones processing chicken today. In here I have some turkey bacon, some turkey hamburger, and some steaks. This bag has all of my pork products, so it has my breakfast sausage, my bacon, pork chops, a pork belly, and a pork bone. And I'm just going to go ahead and put all my bags back in the freezer. And this bag has all the chicken we processed today. Now I want to make sure I use the chicken we already had in here first before I move on to the chicken we did today. And this is our beef. And all of our homemade butter. So meat freezer, done. I don't think we're going to get to the hot sauce. Definitely not going to make this Sweet Thursday. As for stocking the kitchen and the sourdough starter, we're only going to do the sourdough starter. So I made a loaf of bread last night, cooked it this morning before you got here, but I need to feed my sourdough starter so I can put it in the refrigerator until the next time we need it. So I ended up with 400 grams. I took 100 out to make bread. I have 300 in here. I'm going to go ahead and double that and get 600, and then I'll put it straight in the refrigerator, and in a couple days when it's time to make bread, we'll already have the 100 we need to make bread. Plus we'll have some left over so we can make another discard recipe. So if we have 300 grams of starter, we need to add 300 grams of flour and water. So half flour, half water. So we need to add 150 grams of each. Now that's a lot of starter for this quart-sized mason jar, but that's okay because we're going to put it in the refrigerator. So it's not going to rise too much. And then when we need to make bread, I'm going to take out 100 grams to start feeding that with 50 grams of water, 50 grams of flour, and I'll get 200 grams. And the remainder in this jar, we can make a sourdough discard recipe, just like we did when we made the crackers. And this is the bread I cooked this morning. I fed the sourdough starter Saturday night before I went to bed. Sunday morning I got up, I made my dough, did the stretch and folds in a 2-hour period, let it bulk ferment on the counter, and then Sunday night I shaped it, put it in my loaf pan, stuck it in the refrigerator overnight. This morning I took it out of the refrigerator, left it on the counter for about 2 hours so it could warm up and start its rising. And then I put it in a 375-degree oven for 45 minutes. And now we have sourdough bread. And our starter is fed, ready for us the next time we need to make bread, which will probably be about 3 to 4 days. Sourdough starter has been fed. We did not get to the hot sauce. We did not make Sweet Thursday. We did not stock the kitchen. But family, it is okay. There is always tomorrow to finish the things we didn't do today. We did take care of the most important things, and that is number one, processing that chicken so it doesn't stay in the refrigerator too long and we lose it, and then we have no protein. The other was getting the freezer organized. I'm very happy with that. We'll see how long those shopping bags last in the freezer with the meat in it. I'm very curious to see how well that's going to work for me. But I like having the bags separated between my proteins from pork, beef, and poultry, except for the turkey, the chicken, and that pork roast that's at the bottom of that freezer, but that's okay. Sweet Thursday, and you'll see that video in 2 days. I will get up tomorrow and I will make that dessert that I thought I was going to make today, but we didn't have time. You'll see that Thursday. As for the hot sauce, we have been fermenting some jalapenos and some dried chilies for a month. And I'll probably take care of that in a couple days. You will see that video in a week. As for stocking the kitchen, we can always do that tomorrow. And that's filling up the flour, the sugar, the rice, the spices, the salt, the pepper, all the things we need in our kitchen at our fingertips so that we can cook the things we need to cook and have a successful day. If you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, please subscribe. I will love to have you part of the Grammy family. In this kitchen, we cook our meals from scratch, homemade, to feed our bodies nutrient-dense meal so we could go about our day and do the things we need to do. And as for the herbs, the sage, the thyme, the oregano, and the other sage that is right there, we're just going to leave those up there until they're completely dry. Then we can process those and put it on our pantry shelf. It's okay if we don't do everything we need to do. as long as we do a little bit each day and we can get all the things done. I want to say thank you for hanging out with me today, and you have a blessed day. Bye, family.